Hello, good guys. Welcome back to my channel. Let's code with Kundan Kumar. Have you ever wondered how actually real world entities like students, books, cars, animals, or bank accounts are being created in this programming? In Java, we use classes and object to bring the data to the real life. If you're new to my channel, I'm your coding instructor, Kundan Kumar. Please, if you have not yet subscribed my channel, please click on the hit on the subscribe button and select the all options so you will not miss any notifications. So in this video I have brought to you about to know why we should know the class and what is the important of the class in Java, how what is an object and how to create an object, what it is a constructor and what role it plays in this class. We are going to also access the class member and all those things we'll see all together in practical. So let's go and see why we should know the class. So far, we have learned about data type. So guys, if you're new to my channel and if you have noted watch the data type, you have some confusion, please go and watch this video introduction to data types and their ranges. So back to the class. This data type can store only a single type of values, either an integer, a floating numbers, or a character, or a string, etc. However, this represents a limitations. Many real-world entities, such as a student, book, vehicle, or animal, cannot be adequately represented using just a single primitive data type like int, string, or float. Let's understand with an example. Assume we have an students and a student can have name, age, gender, height, address, contacts, qualification, courses, etc. If you are a software developer and you are asked by the university to develop a software which can record the student details during the admission, there is no single data type can encapsulate all the required information as a single entity, as you know in the data type, because you can see here in the student they have a different the attributes, different features of the students. So this can be done using the class. So question is, what is a class? So class is a blueprint of a real world entities, that is a new data type in a object oriented programming language. Class is a constitute of data members and members method, many more. You can see here we have a students. This student can have a data member, that is a state, that is a data, that is a value to the students. That student can have a different and can have a members method, that is a function. This function can be accessed by this an object. So now here data member can be public or private. This data member can be public and private. Basically data member is put in private and member function put in public. So this is a data member we put in the private for the security reason, and functions and method is in the public, so anywhere it can be accessed from the anywhere. By default class member is a package private. So let's see what may class may contain. A class may contain variables, methods, constructor, blocks, nested class and interfaces. So how to create a class? So we need to follow some specific syntax while we creating a class. So you can see the syntax to create a class in Java, that we have a access modifier followed by a class keyword followed by any class name. This is defined by the user. Fine. This class may have a data member, blocks, member methods, constructor, etc. So let me show you, because we are using the access modifier, let you know that we have a different kind of access modifier in Java. Private, default means if you don't mention any access modifier, what is the default called the package private, protected and public. We have this kind of private access modifier, but in this video that is a limitation. We are not going to cover what is the access modifier. I'll make a special video in, and then I will publish, that is in my to do list. So you can pause the video, you can go through, understand this is a different kind of a scope, if you have a private member who can access, who cannot access, like this. So but I will be making a separate video on this one. So let's go and create one class. To create a class, I am going to open one of the editors. So so when you have a, when you are creating a class, it means you are going to practice, you are going to bring all things together, in our practical session. So you need to open one of the editors. You can use the VS Code, you can use the Eclipse, you can use the NetBeans, you can use the Notepad plus plus, Notepad, etc. But in my video I am going to use, I'm going to use the IntelliJ. So this is my IntelliJ idea I'm using. So if you have not, you don't know how to you install the IntelliJ idea, ID on your computers, and you don't know how to create one project in this, please visit my channels, Let's Code with Kundan Kumar, install the idea and how to create one project. So get back to the session. So we are going to create a class. So right click on this source folder, see new, click class. Now give the name called the student. You can see here it's following the syntax, automatically this created. Public, that is a default creator system. Public is a access modifier. Class is a keyword and followed by a student, which is a one of the class name, which is also known as a here class name. This class can have a data members and can have a methods. Okay, so these data members can be a instance variable or can have a class variable. If you don't know the what is the instance variable and class variable and where it is created, please go to my channel Let's Code with Kundan Kumar, and please watch this video, understanding variables and their types. In this video I have explained introductory part, how to create instance variable, how to create a class variable, how to create a local variable, and then get back to this session. So allow me to create instance variable right now. So I'm going to create instance variable. Instance variable is always be within a class but outside any method. So you are creating a data member for the students. So here students can have a name, so student's name. A student can have a gender, so I can say string. Why? Because it's a male or female. A student can have a height, so we can say age, integer. A student can have, a student can have age, yes, age. A student can have a height, so float, HEIGST, height. A student can have a qualification, or we can say a student is joining the course, so we can say string course. A student can have a contact, so we can say depends, integer, we can say phone number, considering only the numerical part. So these are a data member that we have created. Allow me to, because data member, this class may have a data member and have a member method and blocks, constructor, many more. So allow me to create main method inside this class, because main method is entry point of application that you are running, and I'm going to run this file independently. So that's why means I will run this file itself. So I need to maintain a main method in this file. Okay, so in next class I will teach you, in next video I will teach you how to create a one file for class, another file for entry point, and how to access the external file which is a class into the another file. Okay, so right now I'm using this is a file, so static. So this is guys data member that we have created. This is instance variables, and instance variable having the default value. You can see I have not initialized any name, any gender, any age, any height. So this is a, since this is instance, so you will see what is the instance means. So that is the so far we have created. So let's go and see. So we are going to see what is an object. So an object is a specific instance of a class representing a real world entity. Real world entity is students. This student can have a different instance. This instance is going to share these all instance that you are seeing here as a real world entity is going to share the same structure of the students, but all of them have a different data. What is the meaning of different data? This student can have a different name. This student can have a different contacts, different height, different course, different address, etc. Basically, this object, once you create an object of the class, this student class which you have created, is physically available into the RAM of the computer, not a hard disk. And this object is always created at the runtime, not compile time. Okay. So as we know that an object is representing a real world entity, but each entity or each instance of the class, okay, that is object, has its own unique state, behavior and identity. State is representing a value of object, means data member, means each object can have their own data. Behavior means each is a method or function, means each object have their functionality. Now identity, each object there have own memory in the computer, means in the RAM. So why we should learn an object? Learning object will help us to implement or model the real world entity. So we can model this kind of entity and many more. This object also help us to encapsulate the data, means hide the data. Since you have created a class, this class have a data member. If you want to hide this data, you want to wrap this data, you want to wrap this data into the single entity, that is an object. So we should know what is the object, how to create an object. So question is that how to create one object of the student class that we have created. So syntax is that first of all we have a class name followed by object name of your choice. So this is a user defined. Object name is a user defined, means you are the one going to give the name. Assignment operator followed by new keyword is a keyword. Keyword means it is reserved by the Java. This new keyword is helping us, to create an object. When you create an object using this new keyword, the memory allocation will be made in the RAM at runtime. Followed by class names. Class name followed by parenthesis. This is known as a constructor. Okay, this is known as a constructor because class name followed by parenthesis. So to create an object, we use the constructor as well. So for in this video, I'm not going to take you in very details about the constructor, but I will introduce you what is a constructor. Constructor is a special function whose name is same as a class name. You can see whose name is the same as a class name and followed by parenthesis here. Having no return type, not even void. Constructor is basically used to initialize data members. Constructor gets called or invoked automatically whenever object of the class is created. So syntax of the constructor is class name followed by arguments and blah blah blah. This is examples. So let's back to this one and see how to create one object of the class. Then I will talk about the constructor as well. So let's go back to the editor. You have seen we have created a class. We have created an instance member, that is a data member of this class, and we have one method called the main method, which is the entry point of this application. When we run, it will run from here. So I am going to create one object. So creating an object of the student class. We have created one. So syntax was class name. So student is a class name, capital letter, because Java is case sensitive. A student one is a object name. You can give any choice of your name. Please follow the same rules of the how to create a naming convention of the identifier. So object name followed by new keyword followed by class name and bracket semicolon. So you can see this is a syntax. This was an example. So we are creating object student one, okay, and equal to new and student. What will happen when you write this line and when you run this application? So we say this object is created at runtime, means when you run this application, when you are typing, this object is not yet created in this file. It is just a code text. So fine. So when you calling this is a constructor. So this constructor is default constructor as per now. I can say be having the no parameter. Empty constructor also known as a, because no parameter means an empty, parameter means an, because it is a student name as same as a class name, so it is a constructor. So I'm calling the constructor, I'm not defining the constructor. Call here guys, we are calling the constructor, not defining the constructor. In Java we are calling the default constructor having no parameter. So this constructor is very important in order to create a object having the reference of this class. Fine. So this object is, somebody can ask you, tell me this object is which type. You can say it is a object of a student type. This a student type that you are looking at top. This a student type. This object is of this type, a student type. Fine. So we have created a one of the object. Actually, when you create this object, what happens? So allow me to write one more line. Allow me to write one more line here. Student 2. And this is good enough to make you understand. Let me take this code a screenshot. I'm going to take this one here and paste it here. Okay. Okay. This is just RAM. Okay. This is just RAM pictures I brought to you here. Computer RAM. Just to demonstrate, guys. You can see this is your entry point. This program is, so when you run this application here, system will start running from this main method. Okay, is the entry point. System enters here. Once they enter, they found what? They found this line. After entering, they found a student. A student is a class name. Student 1. So student 1 is here. A student 1, consider. S1 is a student 1. They will create a space into the RAM. This is space for a student 1. And this student is going to maintain this instance, because each instance means each object can have their own name, own gender, own age, own height, own phone, etc. So when system comes here from here to here, next one, system generated another students S2, a student 2. Consider S2 is student 2. This student 2, so this is this and this is this one. Again they have their own space memory in the RAM. And these students also going to maintain their own instance member, own data. It has a own name, it has own data, own gender, own age, own height, and own course, etc. So this is happens. So that is why they are saying when we run this application, these two objects will be created into the RAM, this RAM. And each object, they have their own data member but sharing the same structure. They have same structure because all are a object of the students, but each student can have a different data. Hope you understood, guys. Let's go back to the now points where we were. So we have created an object. Now question is that how to access the data member. To access the data member, we need to follow some kind of syntax. You can see here syntax. They have an object name, which we have created one, and then dot class member means data member or instance member or a class member. Can take it examples. So let me go back to the code and say I am going to accessing instance variable, which is a data member here, one of the data member. Data member is two type, guys. Let you know that data member is two type. One is instance variable, one is a class variables. So accessing variable. So a student here, a student is object, that is a syntax dot class member. Here is a class member, one of the instance variable. I can take it name. Okay, name. That is a way to access. To show you this one accessibility, allow me to put inside the print. So I am going to use the output statement, which is a system.out.println, and I'm going to write a student dot name. What is the problem? Okay, guys, student name is coming because a student is a class name, and this is instance variable. Name is instance variable. We can access the instance variable. This instance variable we can access using the object. So we have to write object name, not a class name. So I'm going to write here a student 1, or 2, whatever. So student 1, okay. Let us write here student, copy a student's name 2 also. Simply I'm taking one variables right now and I'm going to run. So look at these pictures. When we run this application, this, so what will happen? So let me explain you again back here. Let me do undo. So when you run this application, consider you are running. So this is a structure of the, there currently we have it for the class. So when you run this application, system will start running from this entry point is this one. System will come inside, they will create one object, a student1. So this student 1, I will consider S1 as a student 1, will be created into the RAM. So as soon as it is created, they will be having a space allocated for this RAM. So this space, what they are going to maintain? This space is going to maintain this instance variables here. So this name is going to be put it here. This gender is going to be here. And I mean to say each instance can have a unique data. They can share the same structure, but they can have their own data. Okay. So what will happen in this line? We don't know what is the name of this student 1. What is the name of this student 1? So when you create an object with this, a default constructor, because this is a default constructor, because default constructor having the no parameter. So student name is, so we are calling the constructor, we are not creating the constructor. Here is, this is a constructor, guys. Why is a constructor? Because I told you constructor name is same as a class name. So it is a special function because we are not passing any parameter. So they call the default constructor. So we are creating a object 1 using the default constructor which is having no parameter. So this name in here name, what will happen? This system will initialize the instance variable with the default name if you create a default constructor here. So this, for let you know that for all the numericals data type, if you say numerical data type, numerical data type, we have a byte, we have a short, we have a integer, we have a long. These are data type holds 0, or sorry, float and double. So numerical follow the integral follow the 0, and floating follow the 0.0. If you have a string, they store the null value, default value. If you have a boolean, default value is a false, etc. So this is a currently there, each variable is holding the default value. So system comes here to, from here to next S2. So another object will be created, S2. S2 will follow again same structure, the same structure of this one, but they have their own name, they have their own gender, they have their own, the height. That is what happening. So currently they are having the default because there is no name. So default value. So when I am going to run this application here, you can see here, when I am going to run this application here, accessing the instance member, a student 1 means this student 1 here having the default value. So they print default value for a string because name is a string having the null. So both are having the null value. Let me run it. Both are having the null value. Check it out. A student 1 and student 2. So let me initialize it. So how to initialize it? So I'm going to initialize manual way without constructor. Simply initialize the class member. So I'm using the student1 object name, a student1 dot name equal to, I can write here Kundan. Okay. Then let me paste. I can give the student2 name is, we can say, call the Alice. Okay. So this is Alice. So you can say I have created a student dot name, the student1 dot name, a student2 dot name. So let me take you this picture. A student1 dot name, it means you are targeting what? This object. When I say student dot 2 name means you are targeting about this object. So each object going to have their name. So when you do student dot 1 dot name equal to Kundan, so it is there. A student 2 dot name equal to Alice, then Alice is here. So when you print these two separately, so let me print these two again, accessing, let me go access. After this one, you will find each instance they have their own value. So I'm going to run this one and you will find it here, output is two different. So now, sorry, Kundan, why Kundan? Let me check. Sorry guys, why Kundan guys? Can you pause the video and understand? This is a Kundan both. Pause the video and see what is the name. So here you can see here is student dot name, here is also student one dot name, here is student also dot name. So let me do a student, here also student 1 dot name. So let me do a student 2 dot name. So you can see I am accessing the two different names here now, Kundan and Alice. Now you can see here each instance can have different data but same structure of the class. Hope you understood guys. If not, please put in the comment box. please, I will be happy to answer your questions. So now I'm going to talk about more about this one. So we have seen here, let me teach you use the constructor. Let me use the constructor, but I will not teach you in details. Let me use the constructor. How this constructor help us to initialize, initialize data member. Can you see, constructor is basically used to initialize a data member. So I'm going to use one of these. Okay, so I'm going to in the create a constructor. So first of all, we need to create a constructor. What is the syntax to create a constructor? You can say this is syntax. So I'm going to create a constructor. So I am going to create a constructor. Please create a constructor, define a constructor outside the main method but within a class. Okay, so outside the main method within a class, let me go there. Here, let me hide this one, guys, simply for a space, and here I am. So I am going to create a constructor here. So defining, creating, before here, guys, I was not creating, I was calling the constructor, keep in mind. So I'm defining the constructor. Okay, defining the constructor. So what is the syntax? As I mentioned here, you can see syntax is here. Syntax, constructor is a special function whose name is same as a class name, having no return type. So just having the class name. So student, okay, we can say student, okay, and having no return type. Don't even void, don't write even void. If you give the void, it's an error. Okay, it's an error. Okay, so this constructor is used to initialize the data member. How? Let me show you. So this is your data member. Currently we have it. Each instance can have their own data. So I'm going to use here quickly. I'm going to write this dot name equal to. So first of all, before that, let me help you know that this constructor can have some parameter. So I'm going to have a parameter. I can have here a string, name, string. We can say gender, string. What he has? Age, string, age. No, sorry, not a string age, guys, is an integer age. When we have a float height, we have a what? String course, and we have integer 4. You can write course. Let me correct it. No, now fine. So this is a constructor I have defining. This constructor is used to initialize the data member. This is a data member. You can see whatever name I have taken here, data member, the same variable I have taken. This is a parameter that we are passing to the constructor. So we are going to use here this dot name equal to name. What is happening? This is a keyword in Java which refers to the current object. So when you create this object here, as per now, this is an error because this student having no parameter. Can you see? This is a parameter, this is no parameter, so error is coming. So I will fill this, guys. I will give some parameter examples. I am giving might be here like a Kundan examples here. Then what is the gender? I am saying the male or female. So let me write here like a male, comma. We can say what is the next? Gender, age is integer, so we can say 30. We can say integer, float is a height, you can say 4.5.5. It is a float error because of we have to write a f, comma. We have a string course. We can say students are taking to the bit examples, comma. Then we have a integer phone. We can say phone number is something like a blah 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 blah. Some phone number I have written blah blah. Okay, I have written some phone number. Okay, so what will happen when you create this constructor, define this constructor? I will teach you in details, guys, more about this, but this is a part of that because we are okay. Constructor, when you create this object, because when you're creating an object, we use the one of the constructor. I'm using the constructor, but this time I'm using the parameter constructor. Okay, so we have a different parameter, so I'm using. So when you call this constructor runtime, this constructor will be called. This constructor will be called because this is a constructor you're calling. So when you're calling, this is a definition of the constructor. So now I'm going to initialize. So this is a, now we can say this is a keyword which refers to refers to the always current object. So what is the meaning of current object? This is a line you are calling. This is a line you are calling. So this is a current object is s1, means this s1. Okay, so this s1 is going to have this name dot, and then you can say this is always current object. So age, whatever current object, now we can say age. So let you know that This dot name is always representing this part, and this name is right hand side of the assignment operator is this parameter of the constructor. Keep in mind, this name is not this one, okay, left hand side. This dot name is always representing this instance variable, and this name is a parameter. So this name can have a n, might be n, so you can write here n, okay, n. So depends on you, but I always recommend to have the same name for the easy mapping. So now right here, this dot, we can say age is done. This dot gender equal to gender. Order doesn't matter. This dot, okay, height equal to height. This dot course equal to string, we can say, sorry, not course semicolon. Now we have a this dot, phone equal to phone. Okay, is done. Fine, you can see here we have initialized the instance variable. So we can say here, sorry, we can say here initializing the instance variable. Okay, we initializing. So when you call this one, this he calls. Like that we have a something. So let me copy paste the same line and I will change the few things. Okay, not all, simply to show you off you. I'm going to copy paste here. Let me change the name, especially name. Gender, let me make it here not Alice, let me make it Alice. And then we have here female, so we can say it is female. Age is might be 26, and height and blah 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 blah. Phone number, let me change the phone number might be something else, 5 6, something like this. Okay, let it be. So I have done. So what will happen when you create? So I have created a two object, a student one, a student one, so follow the same structure, same class structure, and a student 2 also follow the same class structure, but both are different entity, different instance. So each instance can have their own data. You can see they have a different data, you can see here. I'm showing. So when you are calling, so let me, what will happen, let me copy paste this code to the computer. So I'm not going to copy paste all, guys. I'm not going to copy paste all. Just keep in mind here like this here, because I don't have a space here, up to the object only, and then we discuss. Let us go and see. This is your code. So first of all, we can have this RAM. Let me keep it here for reference here simply. Okay, I can keep it here. Let me keep it. Okay, guys. So when you run this application, run it, it will start from the entry point. So it will start from here. Main method. Main method will come here. They will create one object called this one, student one. So consider this student one. So consider this student one is here. Example, student one is this one, and new objects they're calling the constructor. See, this is a calling the constructor. So this is a parameter constructor right now. So student is this, because same name as a class name. This is student is the same name as a class name, so that's a constructor. So this will be called here. From system will go from here to here. Okay, so they will assign Kumar to here, male to here, and copy, they will copy gender, sorry, age is there, sorry guys, some mistakes are there, let me check. Yes, no mistakes. Age, height, they will copy course, and they will copy this one to this one. System comes, they're telling this means what? This refers to the always current object. Your current object is a student one, because this is a line is being called. So this is student one. Dot, because when you create this one, they have their own space. And they have some name. N is name. So s1 dot name equal to s1 dot name equal to Kumar, Kundan. Then again, this dot age, this means currently still a student one. So s1 dot age is age equal to, sorry, gender. Age, okay, fine. Age is what? Age is 30. 30 will come. So like that, all value will be initialized. System will go back from here. Once they complete from here, they will go back here to the next line to be executed. It was this one, because this was called here. From here to it will go back to here. Student 2. So student 2 will be created. So they're calling the constructor, student same. So the different constructor is called. So system will call again back to here. And this time this is student 2, not a student, because this is a line is called. So this is representing this current object is a student 2. So student dot 2 is equal to name. So they have another space. They'll give the name is Alice, whatever Alice. Likewise, they will come at done. So this is why they have their own. So you can see here both class is sharing the same structure, but they have a different data. They have a different data. So let me go here and run it, because you can see here we are calling the name. Allow me to delete this two name because not required now, even not required, because that time I was teaching you default value something like this. So let me delete this and let it be this two name only, student 1 and all. Let me run it. You can see Kundan Alice. If you want to add more attributes, you can copy and paste it here as a student 1. You can say also as a gender, and also copy paste for a student 2. Sorry, close student, copy, and a student here, say student 2 gender, and run it. You'll find here is a student 1 is here male, Kundan is male, Alice is female. Keep in mind guys, currently I am writing this program inside the main method. In main method I am creating an object. I am trying to access the member. Okay, and then constructor is created inside the class, instance member creating inside the class. So you can see here there was one definition here, class may contain variables, method, constructor. Now you can see here class have the variables, that is a members, data instance variable. They have one of the constructor, and they have a one method, but that is not member method, this is entry point. So guys, I will talk more details about the what is the constructor, what is the constructor overloading, what is the default constructor, what is an empty constructor, what is the okay in the upcoming videos. Okay, this was important because we need to create one constructor to show how to initialize the instance variable, and each instance can have a different value. So that is what I have to teach you. Okay guys, so hope guys you have enjoyed these sessions. If you new to my channels, please don't go and forget to subscribe. Hit the subscribe button and all check button. Guys, see you in the next video. Bye bye. Happy ending.